Welcome back to Inside Bikes, and today we've been cruising with Royal Enfield's new Super Meteor 650. We've ridden a few Enfields here on the channel and I enjoy most of them, particularly the Interceptor 650, which is one of my bikes that I'd really like to have in my garage. And the Super Meteor 650 goes on the same platform as the Interceptor, uses the same parallel twin, 46 brake horsepower, 650cc engine. And it's kind of an extension of the Meteor which Carl reviewed last year, which is a 350, budget priced, really popular model. Now, the first thing that strikes you about the Super Meteor is that it's a big hunk of motorcycle. Big hunk of motorcycle for $6,799. It's competitively priced, as all Enfields are, and that's the same sort of money as something like a Kawasaki Vulcan. And the first thing that struck me is how big it actually looks. That engine, parallel twin, the engine case is really big and imposing. You've got a big chunky fuel tank, nice big upside down forks and big cruiser style wheels. So it's 19-inch at the front, 16-inch at the rear, big chunky great tyres on them, and it gives you a bike that you feel like you're getting a lot of bike for your money. And you sit on it and actually the touch points are really nice. I always have to sort of like slap myself every time I ride in a Royal Enfield. You know, I grew up getting into bikes in the 1990s and Enfields were kind of like the Ladas and Skodas of the two-wheel world. Like they were ancient bullets that were just cheap and a bit nasty, to be honest with you. And I don't know why I still have this vision in my head sometimes, but it couldn't be further from the truth. And it shouldn't surprise me, Royal Enfield are one of the biggest motorcycle manufacturers in the world today. A few years back they invested in their Leicestershire R&D department and it's paying dividends, clearly. They are selling incredibly well, and when you ride the bike and when you actually sit on it, you kind of understand why. The touch points are all really nice. You sit on board, you've got a nice comfy seat. At first it kind of feels a little bit sort of odd in terms of the shape and you think it needs a bit more padding, but it's really cleverly sculpted because obviously it's a feet forward cruiser. So the minute that you get your feet forward on the bike and you lay back, your butt kind of moves back in the seat and it's really, really comfortable. And the saddle for me kind of just sums up the really nice engineering touches on this bike. It's well thought out. It's not just some cheap bike that's been churned out for the masses. There's a lot of care and attention gone into it. Likewise, on the handlebar grips, nice, soft, it just feels nice. The brake levers, again, at this sort of price, you might expect just some cheap and nasty little brake levers, but nice, chunky, well made. I love the retro kill switch / starter button, which looks like something out of the 70s, but it's just really, really nice. And the switchgear is really nice too. It's got a chunkiness to it that kind of goes throughout the bike. It looks great, it's a cheeky little thing, and what it shows you is the people that are designing these bikes love motorbikes as well, because only someone that's kind of ridden bikes from the 60s and 70s would kind of get it. And it's got lots of nice little detail touches, the Enfield logos, the instrument cluster looks great, traditional, but with the LCD inlay in it, there's loads of information in there. It's got that little tripper navigation system, which works really, really well. It's a turn-by-turn navigation system. It's great, it's a touch of modernity in what is otherwise a really classic, traditional motorcycle. So it makes 46 brake horsepower, which is just under the limit for an A2 licensed bike. So if you are looking for a cruiser and you're on an A2 license, there's a few options out there, but this might be the one for you. Prices start at $6,799 for the single colour option like the blue bike we've got here, and they go up to $7,299 for the two-tone options, which look quite smart. 15.7 litre fuel tank's quite large and kind of fits in with the bigger, more imposing style of the bike. You've got nice upside down forks, LED headlamp, but old school indicators, which I like the look of. It's quite a heavy bike, 241 kilograms, is quite a bit more than the 217 of the Interceptor, but you've got a 74 centimetre seat height, which is a good sort of 6 centimetres less than the Interceptor, and actually it carries the weight pretty well because it is all down low. And if you are riding on motorways, it does have that extra performance that the Meteor is lacking. The Meteor 350 struggles to get up to 70 miles an hour. This will comfortably sit at motorway speeds, no problem. And to ride it, it's kind of, it is what it is. It's a cruiser. Now, not everyone's into the cruisers. I personally really enjoy riding cruisers, but never actually owned one. I've always sort of gone down the roadster route when it's come to putting the money on the table. But every time I jump on one, especially one like this, it reminds me of how I actually like and how chilled and laid back they are. Spent a lot of time riding on motorways and A roads, and it's just so chill, it's nice, it's easy going, it's very, very stable. It's got that kicked out, raked out chassis, so it does have a lot of stability. You're certainly not going to be hustling it, but it's quite adequate. Spent a lot of time on really rough B roads. Now bearing in mind that these things are built in India where the roads are notoriously bumpy, actually handled it well. Handled as well as anything really outside an adventure bike. Obviously not super comfortable, but quite plush. I think if you're going to criticise this bike, you're criticising the cruisers in general. I wouldn't fancy being pillion on that seat for very long, for example. That's the nature of this kind of bike. Likewise, the suspension, it's good quality, it's from Showa, but it's not adjustable. Again, for a £7,000 bike, it's all to be expected. And overall, I just really enjoyed getting my mind into the cruiser way and enjoying the bike for what it is. Yeah, you can always criticise cruisers for certain types of things. Dynamically, they're not as exciting to ride as roadsters, for example. The feet forward style isn't for everyone, and the looks, it's subjective. Personally, I think it looks great. I think it's a big old hunk of metal. The chrome looks really nice quality. This bike's done over 1,000 miles. Okay, so it's not old, but it's not box fresh either. And the chrome looks really nice quality. Componentry for a bike of this price is great. They also do two-tone colour schemes, actually 7 colour schemes in total. The two-tone, another £300 option for that. But overall, I've really enjoyed my time with it. Will I put it in one in my garage? Probably not, because I really like the Interceptor a lot. But it plays a role in the cruiser market. Certainly if you're looking for an A2 cruiser, this is seriously worth considering. It's very authentic, very well made, and it's got loads of character. Air-cooled motor, feels traditional, but with an element of modernity too. The 6-speed gearbox is slick. If I had a slight criticism, then the cable-operated clutch maybe isn't quite as nice to operate as a hydraulically operated one. And certainly you've got to be a little bit careful pulling it in, and some of the gear changes between second and third and fourth, you had to be very precise with them. But otherwise, yeah, you know, you've got to remember it's a £7 motorcycle that handles well enough for what it is. There's loads of ground clearance for a cruiser. So overall, another great job by Royal Enfield. Maybe not the most mainstream model they've done, but I think for the audience that they're aiming at, it will go down really well. The only thing that surprises me about Royal Enfield these days is that I am constantly still surprised at how good their motorcycles are. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to subscribe. Go to our website where we'll have a full written review. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care.